Hi guys, so I want to introduce you to my sauna project. I'm building a sauna at home, and since I found it's quite difficult to get good information about the dimensions and really the technical stuff and the nitty-gritty of how sauna should be built correctly, I will share what I know. If I don't get something right, please let me know down in the comments, and I hope this will be useful for you. So, one of the quite critical aspects of your sauna is something you might not think about, and it's ventilation. You might think of a sauna as a closed space with really no way to ventilate it other than opening the doors, but that's not so. First, you wanna have fresh air to breathe inside, and second, when you're going through the cycle, you get sweaty, it gets very humid inside of the sauna, and then when you leave it, the sauna needs to ventilate. Then after the cycle, the sauna draws fresh air under the heater, then it gets hot, makes its job inside, and the hot humid air then exits somewhere around here, goes out, and then goes out of the sauna. Here you can see how I've created the air intake for my heating element. My heater is freestanding, it doesn't go on the wall, but rather it just stands on the floor. So I just took two 4-centimeter pipes. I will also thread the electricity through here. It just these two pipes go to the other side. Also, I put a mesh from the other side so a mouse cannot get in. Normally, you would have a heating element that goes from the wall, so you will probably put this through the wall. I have a heater that goes on the floor, so I put them from the floors, and when I put the heater over it, this will not be visible. So right now we'll put together the front frame for the insulation, the side panels and the rear frame are already done, but they were done in exactly the same fashion. We'll assemble them on the floor, and once it's all finished, we'll put it right here and just screw to the sides. The front panel will be a little bit different in that it will have a window across the full width of the frame. So in my build I wanted a window, and what I saw in the shop was already made window which they sold with the frame in it. Was not cheap, but it had insulated glass. But I discovered that for the same price I can have a custom made glass just a 2-layer glass, 4 millimeters and 4 millimeters, with a tint that has the same tint as the doors, and I can set it in directly in my frame. So I bought a glass without the frame, and I've made the hole slightly bigger, 1.5 centimeters, everywhere smaller than the glass itself. And now I will use this router bit to create a lip that the glass will go into, or groove maybe is a better word. So I will go with that. So guys, after lots and lots of routing, we have a groove around the window frame into which we can seat the glass. I must admit it was much more work than I anticipated, but it's already done, and we will sit this on a silicone and see how it looks. So guys, here you can see what we will be using for insulation. For the walls I have panels of insulation. Panels are a little bit easier to work with than if you have it in rolls or anything. Be sure not to put polystyrene or because it cannot take the heat, so use a foam. They even sell a specific foam for the higher temperature applications. This is the one. Probably you don't need it to be true, but they had it in the shop, so I got it. Because I have the sauna outside, I went a little bit overboard with the thickness of the foam. If you are building it at home, you probably don't need something this thick. So I went for 100 millimeter, 10 centimeter thickness for the walls, and for the roof, for the ceiling, you want to go with a double. So I went with a really crazy 200 millimeter thickness foam panels, but really you probably don't need anything like that. And we will be attaching it just by pushing the foam in, then putting a string to secure it, and just clamping it with a cheap staple gun. So let's go for it. So here you can see the roof done and the sides to go. Okay guys, so this is the outgoing ventilation. This is not the prettiest solution, I'm sure. I don't know how it's supposed to be done, so I figured out a 7.5 centimeter pipe should do the trick. I will just cover this with a mesh, and it could work. The hot air exits through here and goes out, and it's in a pipe, so it doesn't get the insulation wet. So as you can see, we've got all the insulation inside. Here it will be later covered with wood, and from inside now comes the aluminum foil, which is to not let moisture into your insulation. You put an aluminum foil and then seal the edges where the two foils meet. You seal them with a tape which is also aluminum, and you kind of create an insulated space inside, so the steam doesn't get into the insulation. So once you've laid 2 layers of the aluminum foil, you seal it with tape. It's adhesive on one side, like this, around every seam of the sauna. Like so, around the whole place. So here you can see the aluminum already done. The edges have been sealed with the aluminum tape. So now we are standing in an airtight, or at least moisture tight room. When it comes to choosing the paneling for the inside of your sauna, I don't really see a reason why you cannot make it out of basically anything. But everybody seems to use not just planks, but these kind of, I think in English they are called tongue and groove planks. Now I'm holding here the cheapest thing that you can get, which is spruce. There's really no reason why you cannot do it out of that. But when you are getting these tongue and groove planks, be sure to get ones which have longer tongues, because when you put it together, the planks will shrink from the heat, and it's possible that if you use this one has a very short tongue, and if I would make the sauna out of this one, when they dry out, especially if you are buying planks which are not well cured, you might actually see the aluminum under the planks. Now this one is very cheap, so I get something different. This is also a spruce, but it's imported from Finland. You can see it has a very nice color because it's thermal wood, which means it's baked in the oven. It gives it a very nice smell when you are taking a sauna. You can really smell it. Here you can see the difference between the tongue here and there. So you can see much longer tongue, and this one is also brushed. So this one is flat. You cannot basically feel the structure do it. And this one is thermowood and also brushed. It's very nice to the touch, and it has a nice kind of a rustical look to it. Now, when you are attaching the planks, there are several ways you can do it. The most simple one, and there's nothing wrong with it, is just taking nails with tiny heads and just driving it at 2 points at every whatever you call it, where you can attach it, and just driving a couple nails at every point. If you use a tiny nail, they will be just barely visible, but if you want to make something nicer, there are these mounting brackets, I don't know if you can see it, which work like that you insert it into the groove, like so, and then you drive a nail through the doohickey here, and when you put the next plank in, this just disappears. So then you have a beautiful surface without any nails which you could see. But this is just it takes more work like that. With the nails it's much faster. But this one I think is a little bit nicer, so I will go with this one. when you are finished and there's a time to place the last board, leave 2 or 3 boards unattached so you can create a radius, because otherwise if you would secure all of these, there will be no way for you to place the tongue into the groove. There would just not be enough space. So leave it like this, it makes a little bit of a curve. There's a very good probability that the last one will not be a full board, so take it off. If your room is not perfectly square or you haven't done such a great job, it probably you will kind of also need to make it a little bit in an angle. And once done, you can put it in the curve, like so. Okay, aluminum tearing, and then when you place it up, it matches perfectly this tear out level glue. So it's time to load the heater with the lava rocks, as we call them, which I'm not really sure they have anything in common with lava. They're special rocks, and this heater takes an incredible amount of 100 kilograms of rocks. I cannot even believe it will fit in. The point is to stack them nicely so you cannot see the heating elements inside of the heater. My particular heater has a simpler mechanism in which you can disassemble it a little bit to make the stacking of the rocks easier. So we can remove this part, put it here, and start stacking.
How powerful a heater should you get? Well, first you need to figure out the inside volume of air, which in my case is 1.6 times 3 meters times 2, and then you add 1 cubic meter for the door, and in my case also 1 cubic meter for the window. That comes to roughly 12 cubic meters of volume that you need to heat. There's a rough rule that you should have 1 kilowatt of power on the heater per 1 cubic meter of volume to be heated. That in my case would mean I should get 12 kilowatt heater, which is a huge one. I got a 9 kilowatt heater and it works just fine when it's minus 20 outside, and I turn on the heater within an hour. It's 70 degrees here, which I think is fine. Once the sauna reaches the temperature, then you'll need all the power to maintain it. So if you get a bigger heater, you can take sauna earlier from the time you turn on the heater. that's basically all to it.
So, we have installed both the window and the door. The window is sealed with a non-acetate silicone, and this support is here obviously just temporarily. Once you have the whole sauna ready, you need to just turn it and do a dry run. Heat it up to like 100 degrees Celsius, and you watch the boards. There could be like a sap seeping out of it, so you need to watch it, and every like half an hour come inside and dry it off. So the basic structure of the sauna is ready, and now we'll start making the seats. So guys, this is the structure for the benches. It's ridiculously overdone and needlessly complicated, but it's as solid as can be, and it's screwed together, so you really cannot break it, and it feels very solid. And now we'll start laying the final decking on which you will sit. When you are choosing the wood that will cover your benches, you need to find something with a low density, kind of a lighter woods, so it will not burn you when you sit on it. If you make it out of something heavy, it will retain the heat. When you sit on it, it will burn you. So there's if you go to a specialized shop, there's a selection of like African light woods that do not transfer heat, and that's the one you wanna use. Inside of the sauna, you do not coat anything with anything, because the heat and the chemicals will not be good. But if you leave this wood bare, anytime you sit on it, your behind will leave an oily imprint. So this is the only exception when you coat something. You coat it with a specialized paraffin oil that's certified for saunas, and it doesn't. Even when it gets hot, it doesn't give off any anything that you would not like to breathe. So you coat it with the paraffin oil, either with a brush or with a sponge, and that turns the wood much darker color, but that's not a problem. And once you coat it, you let it dry, and we can install it inside of the sauna.
One of the things I struggled with was the dimensions of the bench. I found many information on it on the internet. It seemed to contradict each other. So the top bench, make it 60 centimeters. I here have it 50 centimeters, and it's a little bit on the small side when you lay down on it. If you're short on space, go with 50, but 60 is comfortable and very nice. The bottom bench, you don't use as much and usually sit on it. You don't usually lay down on the lower bench, so that can be slightly smaller. So this, I think 50 is okay. 40 still can be done, but then you can only sit on it. As the height goes, each of the steps I have 50 centimeters and it seems to work fine. So this one is 50 from the floor and this one is 50 from the first one. So the whole bench has 1 meter from the ground, and somewhere I found a rule that you should always go by, and that's to have 1 meter from the top bench to the ceiling. So that will make your ceiling exactly 2 meters. 50, 100, and the ceiling is 2 meters. This works perfectly for me. I think if you make it like that, it will be perfect. Width 60, 50, if you are short on space, also is possible 50, 40, not smaller. And you'll be golden. Before you even start building, you gotta figure out how big do you want the sauna. Everybody kept telling me not to make it too large, otherwise the cost of the electricity will be high. You will need a bigger heater to bring it up to the temperature, you know, within a reasonable time, within an hour or so. So my sauna is quite large, like this. It's 3 meters, and like this, it's 1.65 meters. Obviously, saunas can be very small, then you can only sit in them. For me, that I find unacceptable. I think the smallest sauna should have somewhere, some length should be 2 meters, so you can lay down. This kind of 1.65 or something that's here, you're kind of laying down with your knees bent, and it's really not that comfortable. If you don't have any other option, you will have to do. But I think make some dimension, inside dimension, at least 2 meters, so you can lay down comfortably. What's easy is the height, make it 2 meters. Don't make it larger, it doesn't make any sense. All the heat will be near the ceiling, and also don't make it smaller. I think 2 meters is just set, and you know, make a false ceiling, and it will be golden.
So guys, this is how it looks all finished. Off camera, I decked the whole sauna with these slabs with unfinished edges. I'm loving the look, so I did it like this. The shower also works great, and it's great having it here and not having to run inside of the house to cool down.
Guys, that was the whole build. I hope at least something in this video was interesting for you, and see you next time. Bye!